Welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So today I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful corset top with strap. As you can see right here, it's a three-part corset. As you can see, I use different fabrics for the cup sets. Okay, so this is beginners friendly. I actually took my time to make this tutorial for those who are starting up in corset sewing. So I want you to pay attention to this class to learn the tips and tricks to making accurate simple corsets. So right here you can see the back of this corset with lacings and loops, and the loops are really well structured. So we have our boning channels where necessary, so you can see the lacings right there. Okay, so this corset class is really very detailed. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, please stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Alright, so it's time for us to start sewing these corsets. So I've already cut out my patterns, as you can see. So this is my back pattern, and I added half an inch all around, and this is the front pattern. I added half an inch, half an inch, half an inch all around. Okay, so I'm going to make notches. I have my, you can see I have the center front unfold, and I have both my fabric and my lining. So I'll just make notch on the dart area this way and this way on both of them. So by the time I go to the machine, I'll just match them together and stitch my dart. I'll do the same here and here, and it makes it easy for us. So I'm going to take off my patterns because right now we are going to make our darts, create our boning channels. Okay, so I'll just head on to the sewing machine now, and you can see my notches which I made. So I'll just match notch to notch. As you can see, I'll just match them. You know how to sew your dart, of course. So I'm going to sew this dart this way. Okay, you know how we sew our dart. So I'll just quickly sew them right now for both lining, fabric, everything. So I've gone ahead to sew my darts. You can see how I stitched it up to the under bust point. Can you see that? All right, so I did that for the lining. You can see the lining. I have to hairstay and sew all my darts. Okay, I also did that for the back patterns, both the linings for the back pattern. You can see how I stitched that of the back pattern from the 0.75 to the 1 inch. Okay, so that is what I also did for this, as you can see. So I did it for all the back pattern pieces. Okay, so you have to also be careful to note the part that is for up and for down. Okay, so of course you see the down part is the where we have the bigger part of the darts. So when we'll be arranging it, we'll actually note that. So the next thing we want to do is to start sewing the boning channels. So to sew the boning channels, we are going to create the lines for the channels. So I love to create my pattern channels at the center front area where I had unfold. I'll just go ahead and draw one line on the dart. You can see I already have the dart line for one, sorry about that, for one of the boning channels. So I'll just clean this off. That was a mistake. Then another thing I love to do is to create designs for my boning channels. From this center line, I'll just go ahead and mark 3 inches this side. From here, I'll mark another 3 inches. Can you see? So once I mark these 3 inches, I'll just do this. This is what I love to do. I'll just do this. I'll bring it like from here. Let me just say from here I'll go in by 1 inch. Let me do 1 inch because I'm going to sew 0.5, leaving 0.5. So at that 1 inch I'll just connect. Okay, can you see? So it gives you a different corset design. So from here 3 inches, and from the upper part of this 1 inch, and I'll go ahead and do what, and create my boning channel. So these boning channels, I'm going to create them only on the fabric. The lining will not have any boning channel. So I've already gone ahead to iron my strip. So this strip you are seeing here for this channel is 1.5 inches. So from here to here is 1.5 inches. Can you see? So this 1.5 inches, I ironed it half an inch, the next one on top. I believe you understand. So with your iron, once you have it, once you fold in half an inch, place the next half an inch on top and iron. That's how I ironed all of them. So now I'm going to cut these boning channels one after the other and sew. So for the center line, I'll just go ahead and measure, take the measurements, and I'm going to cut. I'll cut it right here, right now. So I'll just use this to demonstrate to you how to go about it. So from here to here. So what I usually do is just to take it up a little bit so I don't have any shortage. I'll just take it up a little like this. So I'm done cutting this. So another thing I always like to do is also to come with the boning. This is a nylon boning. This is not the one you sew on top. This is the one you cannot sew on top. So since we are inserting it into the channel or the casing, the measurement here is half an inch. Can you see? Or before half an inch. So if you go to the market, just measure for this particular. You can see I'm zooming my camera for you to see. So it's just a little before half an inch. Okay, because the casing we have right here, when you fold half an inch, from here to here will give you half an inch. So this boning will be perfect and will be able to, you know, go into the channel. So I love to file the boning, okay, the boning edges with my nail file, so I don't have those parts, you know, sharp when I've been starting it. So once I file it, so what I'm trying to do now is just to test my channel. You can see how it is. That is how I'm going to sew at this edge and at this edge. So I'm just trying to test it to see if it will. You can see it's moving freely, so we are good to go. So now we'll go over to the machine. Now I'm going to show you how to sew this channel. So like I said, I'll be demonstrating this with only one this line. So whatever I do here, that's what I will do here, that's what I will do here, that's what I will do here, and I'll do even to the back. So I'll just use this to show you how to sew it down. So it's high time to top stitch the channel. So you can see me sewing at the tip. I'm done sewing all the channels for front and back, and now I want to mark out the loops. I marked the loops at 1 inch. So now I'm sewing the loops at the 1 inch I marked with my bias strip. So you can see the bias strip, and you can see how I'm systematically sewing the loop from one end to the other. Just follow these instructions. You are going to get how to sew these perfect loops. Okay, make sure the loops are facing inside the dress, as you can see right here. So now that I'm done with my loops, as you can see now, so I brought the back pattern. Okay, this is the back part of it. So the back part of it, I'll simply lay it this way. Okay, that is the lining part. I'll lay it this way, then turn it this way. Can you see? I'll follow this line right now and stitch to the end. But before I do that, I'll just simply go ahead and place my regling boning. Okay, so I'm placing my regling boning right away on top of that line. You can see how I'm going to place it. I'm placing it to follow this part. So I step down a little bit. So I'll just cut off. So my regling boning has to be short 1 inch down from the end and 1 inch from below. So I'll just go ahead and do this. Place it on top this way. So you can see I'm using my red link boning to give it structure. Okay. So at this point we have structure already. So I'm going to repeat what I did right here. Okay, when you turn it now, can you see we have our loop in between, and by the time we sew it, you have that your loop. So make sure your loops are equal. Like this one now is very big. Okay, so if I'm making this dress for my, not for tutorial, I will take my time to have the lines, okay, equal. So this is how to give it structure. Okay, and this bust 40 now, we are going to use it to create our corset styling. Okay, so our corset styling is going to be 3 corset style. That is 3 corset, that goes this way and go this way. So to create it very easily without drafting, okay, and much calculation, you use your bra cup with your masking tape. So I'm going to tape all around right now. So my masking tape, I'll just go ahead and use it to mask. So what I'm doing is covering this bra cup with my masking tape, so I'll be able to get the styling or the design, the corset cup design. There are so many kinds of corset cups anyway. I mean corset design, that's what I actually meant. So to achieve that perfectly, you can actually use your masking tape. So on this apex parts, if you are finding it difficult to mask, you can ease it up like I've eased it. You can see me easing up. Alright, so I'm done with that part. Next I will take it vertically. So you have to make sure you cover this cup thoroughly. Okay, so you have to make sure you cover your cup thoroughly. Covering my cup, so you need to make sure the cup is well covered and flat. Then I'll just turn to the wrong side, or the inner part of the cup, and I'm going to do this. So with this method, it's easy for you to style your bra cup to any design or any style of your choice. So I'm just making a simple alright. So once you are done with that, next is to locate the apex point. This is the apex point, which we call our bust point. So at that bust point area, I'm going to take this the way I desire. Of course, you know how we style our cup. So I just, the way I just desire. Any shape you want to make, you can achieve it here. Can you see? So I'll just make marks because I'm going to take them off now and sew. So I'll I know this part I'm going to join it to this part, and this will go to this. So this part is the bust point area. So by the time I take it off now and place on my fabric, I'll be able to identify it. So I'll just go ahead and do what, and peel off what I have on that bra cut. Can you see? So it makes my corset much more easy. Can you see? So I just go ahead and do what, and cut this, place on my fabric, add my seam allowance. So I'll also advise you to have your center front area. This is center front and this is the side. Please make sure you note all of them. All right, so we have our three part corset now. So I'm going to place this on fabric right now and add my necessary seam allowance all around. Then we'll bring back this cup for it. All right, so now I'm done cutting my patterns, as you can see. So this is my pattern. I'll just go ahead and make a notch on the bust point. Please don't forget the bust point. I was supposed to make this notch on the bust point before I cut, because that's where we'll start fixing this corset. Okay, so I still noted it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to mark the part that is I'm going to transfer this this side. I'll just transfer it into the dress this way. Okay, so by the time I start sewing, so only the side, because if you mark the side, it means the other side will be the center front. If it's not the side, the center front. So I'll just put side for all of them. Then next I'll do is to notch, place this a notch, because by the time I take off my pattern, so you see my notch. So this is the upper part. I'll also notch it, the upper part. So just notch the upper, place your notches, So I'll just go over to the machine now. I'm taking off this pattern now. I'll take it off and I'll go to the machine to sew everything one after the other. Can you see? All right, so I'll just go ahead and join this and this first. So the way it is here, I'll pick this and I'll stitch. So I'm going to stitch from here to here and give it a good press. So once I'm done, I'll pick up this and stitch. So let me quickly do that. You can see I'm done sewing the two, so I'll just go ahead and give it a good press. Can you see that? Then at this point where we have the notch, I'm going to place the where we have the seam, I'm going to place my notch on it this way. Okay, and I'll secure with my pin. I'm going to align it to the end. So I'll start sewing now from the beginning. I'll start sewing till I get to the end this way. So I'm done sewing this together now. So you can see everything matches up from end to end. So this is the easiest way to make a 3-part corset. We are done with the cups. Okay, so I'm done sewing all the corset cups. So I'm going to reduce their seams. I'll just trim off the seams. You can iron, you can trim off, but I like to reduce it so it's not that bulky. So when you are doing that, please, you need to be careful as well. So whatever I do for this cup now, that's exactly what I'm going to do for the rest of it. So I just carefully reduce the seams. So as it is now, I'll just go 1-1 in reducing the seams. I'll just go 1-1 1 can see that place is clean and neat, and we are ready to sew. So I'll pick up my corset cup. This is the side of it. So the part, your number has to be on the side this way. So I'll just go ahead and make a little dart to it so it sits appropriately for me. So I'll just make a little dart here. All right, so you can see the darts. I just made a little dart to enable this cup sit appropriately. So this is how it is. You can see it's sitting more than it was before. So I'll just place this cup at the center this way. So allow it to face you the way it's facing me. Then you place it this way. Can you see? So when you place it, just make little adjustments to still have your seam allowances. So I'll just keep pushing the cup till I centralize the cup. So once that is done, I'll hold it down with my pin at the center front on the bust point. So I just hold it down with my pin now. So I'm going over to the machine now, and we are going to run our stitches all around to hold this cup. So I run my stitches all around this way to hold the cup, and then I'll repeat what I did here for this other one on the other part of the cup, and everything I did here, both the trimming and the fixing of the cup. Then we'll proceed to the sewing of this cup, okay, to the bodies. Right now I'm sewing around the cup, as you can see now. The cups are ready and it's time to sew it. I'm going to sew now, and this is the part I marked. You can see that on the table. So that part I marked, I'm going to place it to match up with this line. Then we are going to sew at 0.5. So as you are sewing now, we'll be aligning the cup. Can you see? So I'm going to sew at 0.5. So you can see how I'm moving the cup. So I keep sewing till I get back to this point I notched. So once I get back to that point, I'm going to back stitch, and we are done. This is what my corset cup looks like right now. Can you see that? So the cup is sitting appropriately. So to make your cup relax a little more, just go ahead and place notches. Can you see? So I'm placing notches at the under piece of this cup. Just place your notches all around to ease it up, okay, to ease that part, because it's a very curvy part. So now the next thing I'll do is to place this way. Can you see how I placed it this way? And I'll go over to my machine. I'm going to do what? Top stitch very closely on top of it. I'll do that now. All right, so I'm done sewing in this one. You can see how neat it's looking. So I notched and I top stitched on top of it this way. So I'm going to sew this one too. So I just want to show you another thing you can do when you have an excess like the one I have right here. Okay, just go ahead and reduce it to 0.5 before you sew into the cup. Can you see? So you can have an excess like this due to expansion of fabric. Okay, so you just have to do this before you go ahead and sew. So I'll just go ahead right now, match it the way I matched it before, and create my mark. Okay, then I'll sew this way. I'll go over to the machine and sew the same way I did for this. So I'm done sewing in the cups for the corsets. You can see the cups right here. And see how beautiful the inside is looking, with the top stitches flipping them to relax on the side of the bodies, as you can see. Okay, so here I also have done the same thing for the lining. You can see I trimmed off the edges and I flipped and top stitched, so it has to lay on the side of the bodies for the cup to relax. So now we want to start sewing. Since we have our back bodies already sewn with the loops, as you can see, so the next thing we want to do now is start matching or joining with 0.5 inch. So I flip the fabric to fabric and sew at 0.5. I'll also do the same fabric to fabric on this part too. I'll just pick up the fabric and stitch. So I'm going to stitch that right now, after which I'll sew the lining. So let me do that. Alright, so here you can see I've stitched the side of the back to the front, and I've also done the same. The side has been stitched to the front. Okay, so if you wish, you can place another encasement on it and make it more rigid. Okay, but for this class I'll just leave it the way it is. So the next thing I'm going. Alright, now that I'm done now with sewing this part and this part, okay, so the next thing we want to do is to attach the strips. Okay, so to attach this strip, I'll come back with my pattern. So if you have not watched the pattern drafting of this class, please endeavor to watch it so you'll be able to know how we got our calculations. Okay, so now this is the pattern that we used. I just thought of making a different strap for it. So if you want this to make this the strap that goes to the center bust point, you can go ahead and make use of this 17.5 inches. But I just want to create a different strap. So this different strap, you still get it from your pattern drafting. So all you need to do is just come to the part. This is where we cut out our corset from. Just place your ruler to the center to this part and take the measurement. Okay, so when we took this one, this is what we got from here to here, and we multiplied everything from here to here, sorry. Okay, but that is where we cut out our corset cuff from. But now we are attaching this strap on this center front where we cut out our corset. We are attaching it here. We are attaching the strap at this point. So this point you are seeing here is this point. So we are attaching it here. That's what I mean. And it will go all the way to the shoulder on the midpoint. So I'll just go ahead and take the measurement of what I have on that line. Here you can see I have 10.5 inches, 10.5. So the back strap remains the measurement we have from here to the chest line. Okay, it remains this. So we are, our calculation now, this is 8.5. So we are going to do 8.5 plus 10.5. That's 10.5 plus 8.5 will give us, for one strap, is we are going to have 19 inches. So I'm going to cut my strap at 20 inches plus 1 for seam allowance, front and back, half an inch, half an inch. So I'm going to cut 2 straps of 20 inches now, because I just want the strap to run from the midpoint going to the back instead of running from here to the back. Okay, so I just want to do something different for this corset top. So now I'll cut my strap 20 inches, 20 inches. Then I'll show you how to cut my strap at 20 inches in length, and the width of this strap is 2.5. Can you see? 2.5, 2.5. So I'll just go ahead and turn this strap to the wrong side now, this way, and I'm going to sew off half an inch. So by the time I sew off half an inch, I'll be left with 0.7 inch width of strap. So it depends on if you want your strap to be at 1 inch. That means you cut at 3 inches. So by the time you sew half an inch, but I just want my strap at 0.7 5. So I'll sew, stitch close this strap, stitch from here to here, then turn it with my loop turner or anything I can use to turn it. Now let me do that. Sewing the straps, you can see them, so I flipped them this way and stitched as I earlier demonstrated. So next I'll flip it back and I'll come in with the lining. Okay, so I'm actually going to match up lining piece together, but before I do that, I'll flip this. Once I've placed this, I'll bring this and sew the sides. Remember, we've not sewn this side. I'll also do the same, flip this and sew the side. So let me do that before we match the neckline. So now I'm done sewing the neckline, as you can see. So the next thing I'll do is just to place notches to my neckline. So once I'm done placing these notches, okay, to ease it, I'm going to also top stitch. I'm going to top stitch to make it more lay nice and flat. So in my top stitching, I just flip all my seams. Okay, I'm going to flip all the seams on the part of the lining as I can. So I just go ahead on the machine, flip on the part of the lining, the seams, and top stitch very close. So I'll just do that and give it a good press. Okay, so now we want to I want to show you how to iron out the part of the cup. Okay, so you have your cup relaxed right inside the corset the way it should be. I'm done sewing this part, ironing this part to give it a good press, as you can see. So on this part now, I just come in with my ironing fabric, place my corset on it with my tailor's ham. I'll just do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'll first lift up the cup. Can you see? I'll lift up the cup. This is my hemming gum or hemming glue. I'll just place my hemming gum and hemming glue. So I'll just use this to demonstrate to you. So I'm just placing it on the lines of the cup, of the corset cup, as you may see here. I'll just place it on the lines of the corset cup. So the same thing I did here, that is what I'll also do on this. Then I'll close this one I want to use for my demonstration now. I'll bring in my tailor's and place it below and turn this way. So by the time I'm ironing this, the hemming glue will help me to help the corset to relax on the back and look neat. I believe you understand my explanation. So I'm trying to arrange the edges of this cup. You remember we top stitched, so the top stitching will just make it lay on the edge. So now if you have a steam iron, fine and good. If you don't have, just do what I'm doing right here. Pick up your piece of fabric with steam on it, lay it on top of there, use your iron to massage it, so to speak. Okay, so as I'm doing this thing, what I'm doing right here, I'm laying the lining part of this. I'm laying the lining part of the cup on the bra cup, and also maintaining the same shape of my bra cup. So that's why you need your tailor's hand. So I'll keep doing this, you know, like that, till I'm satisfied with it and I've known it has really sticked the way I desire. So I'm going to repeat this same process for the other part, so you can see how smooth and beautiful the cup is laying. So if you want, you can just go ahead and dress the neckline a little more. Can you see? So you can see everything lays beautiful on the inside as well. So by the time you have this way, you can see very beautiful and nice. Then once you turn you have a neat finishing inside and a neat finishing outside, maintaining the cup. So I'll repeat the same process for this and we'll proceed. All right, so you can see how the cup is actually looking. So I just want to have little alteration to this strip, the way I'm passing it. Okay, so the other time we passed it this way, but I just want to do a little design just to have like a crossing effect right here. Okay, so at this point I'm going to embellish, tack a rose at this point. So that's why I want to cross it to give it that design. Okay, so anyhow you want to do it is still okay. So I just go ahead and sew it back. Okay, so I'll secure it with my pin. So I'll go to my machine now, secure here with my pin, and I'm going to sew this to this point, and then sew this to this point. So let me do that now. I'm sewing them right now, as you can see, back bodies. So I still have my crossing with my pin right here. So it's time for us to start sewing our boning. Inserting our bonings. Okay, I already cut out my nylon bonings. Okay, as you can see right here. So these are not the bonings you can sew on. They are the unsewable bonings, nylon or plastic boning. So I've cut it into different sizes. As you can see, I have the short one and the long ones. Okay, so this is what I did. I'll use the short one to demonstrate it now. So this is the length I measured from here to here. I have 6 inches. Now I took away 1.5 inch. So I have 6 inches, take away 1.5. So I cut my boning at 4.5. Can you see? So my boning is 4.5. So I'll just go ahead and file with your nail file. Just go ahead and do what? And file it. So once you are done filing, it makes it easy for you to insert. So I'll just pick it up. You can see how it is, and I'm going to insert it into the dress to give it structure. Can you see? So I've gotten it to the end of this, and I still have 1/2 inch to sew, and 1/2 inch is to my boning. Okay, because I'm going to turn this fabric, so I don't need to have my boning get to this point. So coming over to this, the center boning, you still go ahead and take the measurements. Here I have 10 inches, and I removed 1/2 inch, so I'll have 8.5. Can you see? 8.5. So this 8.5, I'll go ahead and also file. So that's what I'm going to do now for all my boning. So each one I file, I'll go ahead and do what? And insert into the boning structure. So later I'll go and give it a good press. So I'll do that for all now. I've already stitched close both lining and fabric from beginning to the end. So I'll just go ahead and go here. From here I'm going to turn everything to the right side. I'll just bring out everything, and then I'll go ahead and press it down again. So the parts I have open, I'm going to use my hemming gun to seal it up. So this is what I actually wanted on this part. Okay, so you can see it's actually looking. So now I'm done putting this, and the next is to create your loop. You just create your desired loop. So I choose to go with this. Can you see? It's already made loop. So that's what I'm going to use to lace this. Okay, so you can sew a loop with the fabric for it as you desire. Okay, so that is how we come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you very much for coming to this tutorial once again. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again. See you in the next class. Bye.